What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Early Edge. A very happy Wednesday. We're on the precipice of the U.S. Open, where we've got a lot of content coming your way, including my article. The Early Wedge is already in your feed. By the way, Bradley Jacobs, Joe Neuenfeld, talking about my bad beat yesterday. It's my worst beat of 2024. It's not even close. Let's take a look at the recap screen because it's on there. Nationals first five money line. I'm not going to go through how that one lost. Most of you in the chat know. We lose that one, but we lose a lot of other ones too. Listen, we've had a couple of good days in a row, I believe, but 1 and 4 is not going to get it done. Prop Stars did very well, not just on this show, but on the site as well. Lee Brown, breaking news, RIP Jerry West. Jerry West has passed away. So thoughts in regards to Jerry West, his fans, and his family. That is a very, very sad passing. Well, we will try to brighten up the mood a little bit after that, after our bad recap screen, and of course, more importantly, the passing of Jerry West. We got some NBA to talk about, speaking of him, and some MLB. We've got the Hammer, Mike McClure, Tim Doyle. Mike, I'm going to start with you. How you doing today?
I'm wonderful, Sia. Just getting ready for another major golf tournament. As you know, love day baseball, love golf tournaments, love the majors. I think this is going to be a beautiful test at Pinehurst, so fired up, ready to go.
Yeah, Mike, I see your pick, and we'll get to it in a few minutes, but actually have a follow-up question about your pick. So I'm curious to kind of get your thoughts on maybe some longer shot outrights or top tens. I just want to get your opinion on one or two players. Tim Doyle, I want to get your opinion on everything because you make me laugh. How you doing today?
I don't know why you went to your funeral voice when you talked about Jerry West. Like you went to the and Jerry West has passed away. Yes, he has. He's lived an amazing life. Talk about one of the greatest players ever, then one of the greatest executives. I'm Irish, okay? McClure knows this. We celebrate life. The guy had an unbelievable life. I had a network call me right when he passed, right before the show started. And I'm starting to realize I'm becoming like the eulogist for this network. And I've been best man 8 times, 8 different guys. So, so now I feel like, and some guys just chose me for the speech. And now I feel like I'm getting chosen to, pay the respects, it means a lot to me. My dad played in the NBA. I'm a basketball historian. I have connections with a lot of these players. But Jerry had a great life, obviously found Kobe as well as an executive. So as far as impact on the NBA, got to be like top 4 or 5 ever. Playing and executive, you probably go to like the David Stearns of the world, but biggest impact on the NBA and basketball has got to be up there. So the logo, rest in peace, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually a good transition. You only see 3 of us, but we actually have a bevy of picks. And Tim, I'm going to start with you. I love what you said about Jerry West, by the way. You got a couple of picks, but then we're going to circle back to you at the end of the show because you've got a future as well. Meanwhile, I'm going to look at the chat, see if there's any picks in there. Talk to me about forget about the futures pick for right now. Talk to me about your 2 picks for tonight.
Yeah, game 3, we're in Dallas. And, if you bet the Mavericks in game 1 and game 2, raise your hand. Okay, and that would be 2 losses. And game 2 loss. Oh, that was brutal, wasn't it? I mean, PJ Washington gets blocked at the rim, and then they can't score late, and they don't end up covering 6.5. They lose by 7. But what do? We come right back with the hammer today. We're going to be hammering Dallas on the money line because Kyrie Irving can't be this bad. All right, and he certainly struggled in Boston. When I played and somebody shot an air ball in the first 5 minutes, it messed up the rest of the 35 minutes of the game in college, okay? Kyrie Irving, it was just like a massive air ball in Boston. He has lost 12 straight games against the Celtics since departing Boston. Now he comes home. Dallas has been really good at home. And also the Kristaps Porzingis news. Got to wonder where Boston's head is at because no doubt about it, Porzingis won game 1 in the first half. Not only on the offensive side scoring, but on the defensive side, blocked shots. He's energy. He intimidated shots. Now he's gone. I'm not saying Boston's not good enough to make adjustments, but if you watch the Celtics in games 1 and games 2, they are much better when he's on the floor. So give me Dallas here. I don't like to lay a 1.5, 2, because if they win by 1, it just makes me angry. So just lay the money line. And my next pick, I am not a big prop player, but PJ Washington. Oh my God, you had me at hello. Okay, you had me at hello. His over-under, when I started betting it, when the playoffs started, was 10.5. Okay. Then it went to an 11.5. Then last game, 13.5. And now, look at this number, 14.5. They have finally caught up. I actually think this is ridiculous, okay? But he's been so good to me, Sia. I have 3 kids that I know about, okay? PJ Washington Doyle might be the name of the 4th kid if we go down that path again. The guy has been remarkable. I also have a bet in this series that PJ Washington will score 10 points every game in the series plus 300. So far he has done that, and now the odds makers are starting to adjust. But Sia, the guy has been so good to me, and you just got to keep riding this train. Like, if you're betting a team, a streak, a player, and they've been good to you, okay, you ride it out. So maybe the journey ends today. For those children I don't know about somewhere on the south side of Chicago, call me, text me, DM me. Like, I'm interested to know, because the DNA is good, Sia. Dad was an NBA player. My mom more of like a jersey chaser. It's a long story. I don't want to get into family history, okay? But these are 2 plays tonight. The hammer is out on the Mavericks money line.
All right. I absolutely love that. We're going to get into my pick in a second. And there's definitely going to be some agreement, which means, Mike, I'm not going to do it right now. We're going to get to the SportsLine pick right now. I'm going to want to get your thoughts on the side here. We were on the network show yesterday, which somebody was asking about in the chat. How often is the Early Edge going to be on CBS Sports Network? I don't know. I don't have the specific answer to that question, but I think you're going to see it a little bit more often in the coming months. Wait and see there. But, Mike, I got to get your thoughts on this game. Hopefully the same thoughts you had yesterday on the network show. But before we get there, let's talk about the SportsLine pick. If you're a member of SportsLine, you've already got this. You already got pretty much all these picks. Pablo Lopez over 6.5 Ks at -119. This is an afternoon game. We got some afternoon baseball with Pablo Lopez. Rockies at the Twins. Certainly good to target the Rockies on the road here, especially when Pablo Lopez is pitching. 1:10 Eastern Standard Time as Tim buttons up his shirt. You got to watch us on YouTube, folks. Pablo Lopez is the play. And by the way, Bradley Jacobs has plays in there. We've got plays on Judge, total bases. I got to say, Tim, you look so much better in this moment. How do you feel?
I thought you looked ridiculous, but now I'm kind of looking at it. I just want to be like you, Sia, because the thing about it is, and viewers, you don't know this, Sia is actually 63 years old. Now, Does he color his hair? That's a different conversation for another day, okay? Yeah, but he is old. He's got amazing shoulders. He's got a great – show him the bicep right now, because we talked about this pre-show. I mean, look at this, people. Yes? Look at this thing. Look at that muscle.
I don't know. It's a little something. It's not
anti-aging, McClure, to lift weights. I realized that. If you lift a little bit of weights, you actually reverse age here. I don't know if I'm ready for the shirt, but I appreciate the effort.
All right. I like it. Bradley Jacobs, by the way, if I didn't already mention it, there's a bunch of acronyms in there. So I'm sure everybody understands the pick, but Bradley Jacobs, as usual, has picks. They usually cash. If you want to take Bradley's picks or the pick you're about to hear from Mike McClure or Tim Doyle's picks or my pick, go to BetMGM. BetMGM has an NBA odds boost offer every game during the finals to sweeten the pot. BetMGM customers will receive a 50% odds boost token for any NBA bet on NBA finals game days. Must be minimum odds of -300 or greater. Log into the BetMGM app for offer details. All right, like I said, I got to get to my pick. We still got to circle back to Tim for his futures pick. And of course, Mike McClure, we got to hear from him. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
We need your sports news anywhere.
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
David says, Tim, it looks like you could host the NBC Nightly News. Is that potentially in the future for you?
No, too many skeletons in my closet, David. But I appreciate it. Look at Sia just starting not. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, it's that's it was a rhetorical question. Thanks for being honest. Okay, so a little redundancy here. I'm going with the Mavericks money line as well. I put this in on SportsLine. Listen, I should have put it in yesterday. Full disclosure. This number got a little longer from a juice standpoint. I should say the juice got a little deeper here because of the Porzingis injury. I don't think he's going to play today. If he does play, just based on the Twitter doctors that I see that I actually respect quite a bit, if he plays at all, it's going to be limited minutes. I totally agree with Tim. You can look at the stat sheet all you want with Porzingis, and that looks pretty good too. But the way he affects the game, particularly defensively, in very high impact situations, I think it's a pretty big deal. But a bigger deal for me is shooting regression coming from the Mavericks, particularly at home. Not just Kyrie Irving, but everybody. They're missing a ton of wide open shots. I think they're going to knock down. I mean, the Celtics are missing some open shots too, but I think the Mavericks are going to regress in a big way, particularly at home. I think because they're at home, they're going to get a little home cooking as well. And I think we have not seen Dallas's best effort against the Celtics. Celtics have been pretty good so far, but Dallas always bounces back when we don't expect them to. Jason Kidd will make the requisite adjustments. Really like the Mavericks money line here, minus 135. If you don't want to pay the juice, it's minus 2.5. I don't hate that either. I actually don't think this is going to be a one-possession game. I think we're talking. I honestly think this is like a 7 or 8 point game. That's how comfortable I feel. That doesn't mean you should put more money on this bet, but that's how comfortable I feel about this particular situation with Dallas. Mike McClure, tell me I'm completely overstating it. I probably am.
I don't think so here. See, I do like the Dallas Mavericks in this particular spot. I think that Porzingis, he definitely could play still. I don't think it would be wise to run him out there. But I do think his impact is big. And he certainly won't be 100% if he is out there. And he is a big impact on both ends of the floor in this matchup. But for me, it's really about the role players on the Dallas side. This is where I expect them to play better, step up, shoot better. Typically happens in the NBA. Role players play a lot better on the home floor. So Luka's going to do his thing, certainly going to get a few more foul calls, a few more trips to the free throw line when you've got that home crowd. I also think that extending the series would not be a bad thing for everyone's financial interest. I think that I think it's Dallas or nothing here. If they win one, they're winning tonight. They're not falling down 3-0.
Tim, did you have follow-up there? You kind of raised your hand a little bit.
I just like that Michael threw the business aspect in there.
Yes.
The playoffs, let's be honest, the Eastern Conference was not, much to watch. And, Dallas was a great story. The Denver-Minnesota series was fun to watch. But, it'd be much better if this thing does not end in 4 or 5.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Mike McClure, we got the U.S. Open coming up. You have a very interesting name, and I'll speed up what I was even referring to on the front end of the show. I have a couple of outrights. I've only bet 2 so far. Colin Morikawa, Hideki Matsuyama. I got it at 20-1 and 50-1. There's a third outright I'm considering, and it's kind of a long shot. It's not a guy I normally take, but it's a guy that you like, and you like him in round 1. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, it's going to be Justin Thomas here, Sia, and it's a very specific bet. It's going to be round 1. You can bet on the player's round score. So you can find this at 71.5 and only minus 105 on the under. That means we can cash this bet with a +1 over par round from Justin Thomas. Now, why I think we should be betting this one early, I personally don't think the course is going to be quite as difficult as everyone thinks so far. JT has one of the earlier tee times. Now, if you can watch some of this, when you're betting round scores, you can bet anyone in the field almost at this point, particularly at majors. There's so many offerings. These numbers will move based on how the players are performing on the course, how hard or how easy the course is playing. With JT going out so early, I don't think we get to see a lot of data to have this thing move. But I personally think some of those ones in the afternoon are going to move a little closer to around that even par score. So I think this is a good opportunity to back JT. But as far as the course fit, JT has struggled with the putter, and that's really it. Everything else has kind of rebounded. When I look at him in this particular field over the last 36 rounds, still 14th in total strokes gained, 10th in approach, which is incredibly important here, 2nd in around the green play. Now, I know you and I both see it. We both have Hideki Matsuyama here. Phenomenal around the greens. Justin Thomas is only 2nd to Hideki Matsuyama around the greens, and that's also evident by another metric, scrambling, 13th there. But I found one thing I found very interesting on JT. He hasn't been great with the putter from a strokes gained perspective, but he's actually been awesome in terms of 3-putt avoidance, top 10 in this field in 3-putt avoidance. So what that tells you there is he's basically missing some of these putts that end up being pars and losing a couple of those birdies. He's not just having disastrous performances on the green. So based off of his approach play, based off of his around the green play, I think that a round score of par or 1 over par is very, very doable, especially with this early tee time and a pairing with a very, very good player in Colin Morikawa here. Let's go JT under 71.5 strokes in round 1.
All right, JT at 45-1. Is that a no play just because he hasn't been good enough over 4 rounds with the putter?
Not for me. He's one of the outrights that I have for this week. Yeah, had him at 50. I would still play him down to 45. Actually, I can quickly tell you what my exact number is on him. Let's see. Sorry for the delay. I have JT all the way down to 31 is where I price him.
Wow. Okay. Certainly value there. All right, Tim, I know you got to get out of here. We're going to have a slightly shorter show than we normally do. Talk to us about a future before we throw up the recap screen that you like in the NBA Finals.
I'm going to play Dallas here to win the series. I got it at plus 640. Now the odds are plus 550. And my thought process is this is going back to Boston 2-2. And then what I always like to do is hedge. So I think there's going to be an opportunity maybe to get off the bet a little bit and to kind of maybe be able to catch a series middle. But I believe this series is going back to Boston 2-2.
I kind of agree with that. I like this number quite a bit. I like the opportunity to potentially middle or hedge this bet off after the next couple of games. All right, we got to get out of here. A little shorter show. We'll be back to the regular scheduled programming tomorrow in terms of length and number of guests. But today, here is the recap stream. Mavericks money line minus 135. PJ Washington over 14.5 points. And Mavericks to win the series at plus 550. You might be able to catch that at plus 600 as well. I've got the Mavericks money line tonight. Mike McClure, Justin Thomas, round one under 71.5. And our sports line pick, Pablo Lopez over 6.5 Ks. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a great show. It was a quick hitter. Again, tomorrow we're back to our normally scheduled programming, and I'll probably have some round matchups for you for the U.S. Open in the afternoon. Check out my article on SportsLine, my first round leaders, all the articles from Patrick McDonald, Eric Cohen, the simulations on SportsLine from Mike McClure. We've got it all for you on SportsLine, including a lot more picks on today's slate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a great Wednesday. Let's stay positive. Let's cash some tickets, and let's bounce back from Tuesday's performance. On behalf of Tim Doyle, on behalf of the Dallas Mavericks, I'm wearing Dallas blue, folks. On behalf of Mike McClure and Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 9s and 10s, I am the counselor of cash, Sia Nejad. This is the Early Edge, and we rest our case.